not true. The world is not round. Everybody knows it's flat.
Don't be dumb. Don't be weird. Don't be thinking. Don't be thinking. Jeez.
Okay, so this is the Elder Scrolls Online podcast. Name is subject to change, but that's what we have for right now. Just deal with it.
We did not spell the wrong. Yeah, the is not spelled incorrectly.
No,
it's
it is.
the.
It's the. It's the only one you need. Yes.
Indeed.
With the weird hand motions of Soma.
I was just stretching.
Sure, that's a stretch. All right. Okay, so I'm Deagen. I stream obviously on this channel. A lot of you guys know me. Some of you guys might not know Soma. He and I met while streaming DayZ together, and we've kind of been pretty good friends for a while now. But we're both super excited for Elder Scrolls Online. I know I myself have pretty much played every Elder Scrolls game since Morrowind, which was probably the first one that I played, but I played the piss out of that game. So I'm super excited for the game, and yeah, that's me. Soma, you tell me about yourself real quick.
Well, as you said, I'm a DayZ streamer over at twitch.tv/SomaPlays. Says it right there on the screen. And like Deagen said, yeah, me and Deagen have been talking on the internets, over the internet machine for what, a year now, I guess, since DayZ kind of exploded on Twitch.
Yeah, it was right about this time
summer.
last year when I stopped playing Diablo 3. So
Yeah, I'm a DayZ streamer. I also stream Oblivion and Skyrim and Dota 2 sometimes.
Ew.
I know.
I'm joking.
I know.
No,
I kind of want to get into Smite, but that's a different podcast. But I've played every single Elder Scrolls game, including Adventures in frickin' Hammerfell. I've played them all. The first time I ever played a Elder Scrolls game was Arena, and that was in, I think, 1996. A couple years after it had come out, my buddy's dad was a huge nerd, and I would watch him play it. And I thought it was awesome. You know, back then the graphics were so cool. I was also like 10 and stupid, you know.
I love your nerd voice.
Yeah, it's like, this is so awesome. But it was amazing. It was so cool. It was groundbreaking.
Great.
But that same year is the year that Daggerfall came out, 1996. And my buddy's dad went out and bought it, I think, the same week that it came out. And we started watching him play that. And then he was like, you guys are old enough, you guys can play it. So we spent hours trying to get out of the first dungeon and like never could. But it was still fun to play it.
My first main memory that I have from playing Elder Scrolls games was in Morrowind. I had this I named my character Sir Kramer.
Sir Kramer.
So when the text came up on the thing, I'm like, they better address me by Sir. So I made sure I put it in my name. And I remember I had my guy was beasted out, right? I had like, I don't know, 100 hours on this one character, and I was loading it, I was saving it, and something happened and my save got corrupted and he's just gone. I was devastated. It's my first tragic video game loss.
Yeah, I remember the first tragedy that I experienced was in Morrowind. I had a Red Guard. Your favorite race, Deagen, the Red Guard.
No.
And I had a Red Guard, two-hand sword-wielding, heavy armor alchemist that used poison blades. And one day, I just was like, let's just kill some people for fun, you know, just go murder a town. And I was normally a good character. My guy was a good guy. And I slaughtered a bunch of NPCs. Yeah, well, I slaughtered a bunch of NPCs, and I ended up killing a couple of dudes in this house that affected the main storyline of the game. And I killed them and accidentally saved it. And it was, I don't know if you ever saw that message, you know, you have killed a character that has changed the course of the game. I can't remember. And I accidentally saved it, and I had like 70 or 80 hours in this character. He was high level, and I wanted to beat the main game, obviously, and I was so pissed off, and I had to restart and like go back.
You know, but that's one of the things that there was a really awesome video that I watched a while ago on the dumbing down of the test series, and that's one of my main frustrations, I guess, with the series in general, man. Like, if you look at Morrowind to Oblivion, like the change from that was huge. Oblivion to Skyrim, the change wasn't that much, but the dumbing down from Morrowind to Oblivion was just astronomical. And
Very apparent. Big time.
Yeah, very apparent. They definitely went from hardcore test fans to more of a casual game. Honestly, I think Oblivion was the worst in the series for me. I think Skyrim was a little bit better than Oblivion, but Morrowind by far was the best one I've played so far.
Yeah, Morrowind's my favorite. Do you feel that changing the game from being text-based in Morrowind and making it so you really have to read and you get really, I'd say, emotionally involved and you feel like you belong in that world more because you're reading and exploring? And do you feel like because it went toward voice acting in Oblivion and Skyrim, that kind of killed it because you just don't care? Oh, shut up, I don't want to hear your voice, I'll just run off and go kill some wolves.
Well, that's actually a good question. And I think that, okay, so one of the main things for me too, the difference between Morrowind to Oblivion, they brought in the waypoint, right? You had waypoints for everything. You knew where everything was. Where's the waypoint? Where do I fast travel to now?
Hold my hand and take me there. Exactly.
Yeah, hold my hand. In Morrowind, there wasn't really waypoints. Like,
I know.
You would have to go in, read your journal, where I have to go, where do I gotta be,
and because
that's
you
gone.
read it, you got that backstory too. I have to go here because this crazy bastard did this, and okay, I need my clues. So they said near this rock in the northwest of this area. So you actually care. You actually cared. You're absolutely right.
So I think that was but I understand at the same time. We always say the dumbing down of the series, it sucks, but at the same time I understand they're trying to make money, but waypoints aren't necessarily the downfall of the test games, but it's another piece of the puzzle, I guess.
It's funny you bring that up because there's been a couple articles of people that have had hands-on impressions of the game, in the last month or so. And one article, I can't remember which one it is, so that sucks. I don't have a source to give you, but I just remember reading this article. This guy saying, I remember playing this game a year ago, and it felt Elder Scrolls. And now I'm playing it a year later, and this was, maybe 3 weeks ago. He said it doesn't feel like an Elder Scrolls game anymore. It feels like an MMO because I'm picking up my quest, and I'm seeing on my mini-map where I have to go. I'm seeing the area that I have to be in, instead of that exploration that we talked about in Morrowind, where it says, hey, go east, and it's around this area, good luck. It doesn't have that feel anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But, hopefully there's a way to go into the customization options and turn that kind of crap off. Turn map markers off. Turn off, glowing NPCs that let you know that's a quest, or I hope they have.
For sure. So I guess we're kind of already diving into our first topic, but if you guys haven't seen it on the scrolling text there, it is what we expect from Elder Scrolls Online. So we're kind of already talking about, what we've experienced in the past few of the test game series, but as far as what we expect from Elder Scrolls Online, I know for me, as far as what I enjoy most about Elder Scrolls games is by far like the exploration. I just like saying, I don't care about the quest. I just want to go this way. I'm going to explore every single cave I find. I'm going to see what I can find. And that's what I want to do. Like, I don't care how fast I level or whatever. I'm running around. I'm going to find
stuff. Out of prison. You want to get out of prison as a level 1 and just go. Run straight and never stop.
I never do the main quest lines in the test games. Never. I'll do side quests, but I don't like the feeling like I'm on like some path and they're like holding my hand. If I get there, I'll get there, but
here's a secret.
Juicy.
That's juicers. Okay. So, I sank probably 400 hours into Skyrim. And I have never gotten even halfway through the main quest.
I've never beat the game yet.
I've never beat the main quest.
Yeah, I'm at probably 400 or 500 hours too, and I've finished like the Stormcloak.
I did Stormcloak, Imperials, I did Dark Brotherhood. I just was like, I don't want to be the frickin' Dragonborn. I want to be the best assassin in Skyrim. That's what
did you do the Dragonborn DLC though?
I did. I didn't actually end up beating the last boss, but I did explore a lot and get my ass kicked a lot. On
It's a really good DLC though. It was pretty.
I think it's fantastic.
I think it was the best one they released.
Yeah,
it was really good.
By far the best one. Yeah.
Those freaking black books, man! Oh my gosh, those
awesome.
things in there, screw those. What are they called? Seekers or whatever? Where they like duplicate themselves? Those things are bastards.
Yeah, it was. I was definitely getting the shit kicked out of me. It was not easy.
I still remember the first time I went in one of those black books. I'm like, I got this. I got this. I was getting murdered. Good thing you can go back in there.
All right, so expectations. Well, what do I expect, Deagen? Let me tell you. Let me give you a few things that I expect. Number one, a good and practical business model. I do not want some free-to-play shit. I want to pay for the box, and then, and I don't know how people are going to feel about this. This is my opinion. I feel like a subscription model or a store which allows you to customize the way you look are the only two paths they can go. Pay for the game, $60, I'm assuming it's going to be $59.99, and then either a cheap subscription fee, and I'm talking like $5.99 a month, or like Netflix-style prices. None of this $15 a month, maybe like $7 a month or something like that. Or instead of that, go with a store, an in-game store which allows you to buy dyes or customize the way your armors look or something like that. But if I had to pay to respect my character, if I have to pay for ID scrolls, if I have to, I don't know, pay to get certain items or craftable materials, I'm not going to be cool with that. In fact, I can't stand that kind of business model. So that's number one for me. I want a good business plan. Let me pay one time, and then if it needs to be that I need to pay a few bucks a month as a subscription fee, if the game is worth it, I will gladly pay it. But if it's not, obviously no one's going to pay that crap, right? So that's number one for me.
Okay.
Is a practical business model that makes sense and is good.
Point taken.
Number two, they really need to nail down a very strong end game. That's our next topic, so I won't go too into it right now. But end game is the number one thing for me in a game, in an MMO.
Same for me.
Yeah, it's by far the most important thing. But we'll get to that. We can get to that in a little bit. Number three is how they integrate guild cohesion and like the Twitter and Facebook type crap that they've talked about. I'm really scared about that.
That's something we touched on a little bit before. I mean, this is our first podcast, but we've talked about it before in the past. And they've said they want to do something with that, but no one's really sure what it's going to be and how it's going to work. But
right,
yeah, I'm with you on that.
I expect it to be something that I can control. I want to be able to turn off any Facebook or Twitter integration in the game if I want to. I shouldn't have to be forced into it. I hope that I don't have to log into my damn Facebook account to log into the game or something like that. Let's hope that it's to the point where if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. And along with community is guilds. I really hope. I am all about being in a guild and having guild pride and running endgame content or doing PvP with my guild. I really hope that they have a strong guild system in order where you can see everyone in your guild. You can do, you can easily message everyone in your guild, or certain people do guild rankings. Have a very easy to use and monitor guild calendar. And if you can integrate Twitter with guilds, which I'm assuming is the whole point of the Twitter and Facebook integration, have it so that you can do guild invites through Facebook and Twitter, or you can tell people, the raid's at 7 o'clock tonight. Grab your Mountain Dews and Cheez-Its and see you on at 9 p.m. Like I hope that's how they integrate it. I hope it's not.
Bring your bedpans.
Yeah, like you killed 12 rats. Here's your Facebook post about it.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I don't want that at all. That would be so bad. Those are basically my expectations. Make it so I'm not paying $5, every other day to ID some items or respec my class, because I have ADD and I like to respec a lot, right?
I think everybody likes that.
But
That's why a lot of people play MMOs, right? Everybody likes to customize stuff. Everybody likes to test stuff. Everybody likes to do all that stuff. That's the whole point of playing an MMO. If you don't have that, then why play an MMO? There's no point.
Absolutely.
Okay, is that everything that you wanted to say? Can I talk now?
I guess.
I'm joking. Do you have?
Sure.
Do you have
No,
more?
yeah. That was like my little list I made in my head when I was showering and like washing my armpits. I was like, what do I expect out of ESO? I have some time to think about it.
Nice.
Yeah, those are the
okay.
three.
Well, I'll give you what I think now, and I'll kind of roll off what Soma said too. So first thing he talked about was their business model, and I wholeheartedly agree. What I firmly believe, as far as business models go, is this: you cannot have an Elder Scrolls game and have it not be a subscription, and I'll tell you why. Elder Scrolls is about exploration. It's about, going out and finding things. I would hate the fact that if it was a free-to-play model and people could purchase things from an in-game shop that everyone else is going to have to go out and search for and find, and it's going to ruin the whole immersion of the game. You can't do it in an Elder Scrolls game. You just can't. Especially when you have... Elder Scrolls is going to have people that are going to purchase this game. They have a following, they have a backing, they have people that, if you put a subscription, are going to pay for it. They're going to pay the $60 for the game. Shoot, even $30 for the game. What does it matter? $30 for the game and put a $10 fee a month. I would pay it.
So would I, yeah.
If I would pay 50 or 10, 50, even $15 a month, I honestly don't even care. As long as there's no in-game shop where people can, say you need to go mine 20 copper. If you could, purchase copper from I would just be so mad at stuff like that. That would just ruin it for me, and I would be furious. But
I don't want any microtransactions, just none. That'd be the best.
The only microtransactions I think work, period, ever, is cosmetic stuff. I love the fact that you can have that in MMOs and have it just be, you know what? I wanna mount that is a dragon with 4 heads.
Yeah,
I don't care. Cool. Pay $300 for the dragon with 4 heads. It doesn't bother me. It just gives more money to the company game I'm playing that they can use to, improve the game. But as far as, things that give them an advantage over me, it's frustrating.
Pay to win is never good, and I actually don't like microtransactions at all. But if they did implement microtransactions because they wanted to make a little bit more money, customization and how you look, and like you said, like a 4 dragon-headed helmet or whatever the hell they wanted to get, or if let's say there's a super rare die out there that dyes your chest piece to gold and
right.
silver or something like that, you could, as long as you can go out into the world and find that in a dungeon and it's super rare and that there's a chance that you can actually find in the game world, and you also have an in-game store where you can just purchase that die for $10 or something like that, that's fine. As long as I have a chance of going out into the world and actually finding these customizable things, that's all I care about.
Definitely. But and it's one of those things too where if you look at the business models from MMOs and games in general in the past 5 years, I would say, the free-to-play model is the way to go. If you're looking at as far as overall profit for a game, as long as that game is obviously successful, free-to-play is the way to go. Because people will always continue to buy stuff. There's always people out there that play games that just want extra customization. They want extra this. They want extra that. They can never have enough.
Yeah, it's all about heat of the moment, though, too. You're in the middle of a game, and let's say I didn't play too much of Neverwinter Online, but let's say you're in the heat of the moment, you're playing a game, and all of a sudden this rare sword just fell, right? And you pick it up, but you don't have any ID scrolls, and you go and you want to purchase an ID scroll because you got to find out what was that drop. Here, I'll spend $1. Yeah. I'll spend $1 for this, sure. That starts to really add up, though. Oh my God, I just found a rare helmet.
Oh, yeah,
I gotta ID this. But I don't have any. I'll just buy one more ID scroll. That shit adds up.
It does.
Big time. It does. And before you know it, let's say, I played WoW for 6 years. If that was a free-to-play game that had an in-game store, I would be so poor right now. I'd be in debt to World of Warcraft because I always had heat-of-the-moment things.
If I
needed to spend money, I would have. And I'm happy I did. I'm happy with the subscription.
I was super into WoW for 3 or 4 years while I was leading up to college, and all through college all my friends played. But it's one of those games too where if you don't have friends that play, that game got old real quick. But I mean, that's MMOs in general, right? You don't have people to play with, you don't have friends that are playing it, you're not going to play it. It's just not going to happen. Anyways, I think we beat that topic to death as far as the business models. Just beat it to death. That's right. All right, next thing for me, what I expect from this game. I expect a good guild interface, good guild system. Because as far as me being a streamer, I love the community, right? I love building a community. I had the most wonderful community in Star Wars. We had a great time playing that game. We had 500 people in our guild. We got 500 people in our Neverwinter guild now. And it's a little bit different in Neverwinter, right? You only have 5-man dungeons or whatever. But in Star Wars, I mean, you had huge groups. And it was just awesome. I really, really enjoyed that part of it. So I really hope that they have a really good guild system integrated and things run really well with the, all the different adventure zones. I just hope that runs really well. I hope the guild system is integrated really well into the game. That's definitely a big thing for me, is that.
Right.
The Neverwinter is not over. You guys shush your mouths.
That's why I don't like to read chat during stuff. I'll wait till later.
There's always going to be people that do that stuff, though. I mean, a game's over when you want it to be over. There's always going to be people playing games. Whatever. Okay, so I think those are the two main things for me. I guess one more side topic, I guess, from what I expect from the game would be gathering, right? One of the things I really, really enjoyed about Oblivion and even Morrowind, the gathering, like you just picked up everything, right? You never knew when you were going to need something, but there was always a use for like everything. So same thing with this game, right? They're going to have a really robust crafting system from what I've been reading. The crafting system in this game is supposed to be pretty in-depth. So I'm expecting a lot from it. And I expect whatever you can craft to be a combination of things that drop from endgame content and a combination of things you have to go pick up. And I like that. I like running around. That was always it was just calming to me going out and gathering stuff. So
yeah, crafting in the game is pretty. There's 5 different crafting routes you can take, but you can also be like a jack of all trades and kind of be all 5, or you can. There's like a point system where, let's say you get 1,200 points, and to implement into a crafting tree, right? And the max, there's weaponsmith, armorsmith, enchanter, alchemist, and provisioner, which is a cook.
Yep.
So let's say like the max amount of points to be like a master level weaponsmith is 500. You put 500 points in that, then you are a master level weaponsmith, right? But you have 1,200 points. So let's say you max out weaponsmith, max out armorsmith, and then put 200 into enchantments. So you have like mild enchantments you could put. Or you could put like 200 here, 200 here, 200 there. You could be like a jack of all trades or master of 1 or 2. And you don't actually go into the game world and make a sword that's epic. What you do is enchanting in ESO is going to be centered around improving weapons that you find. Right. So as a weaponsmith, I'm not going to be forging the hammer of badassery that will thwart the dragon. It's not going to be like that. Yeah, it's not the hammer of badassery. It's going to be the jewel that you encrust into a sword you found that will make it the sword of badassery or something like that.
Right. Yes.
So there's always going to be room for enchanters and armorsmiths and weaponsmiths and alchemists.
Everybody will always want something improved. That is what he's trying to say is, in WoW, we'll throw out the comparison in WoW. If you were a blacksmith or whatever it was, and you would level that profession all the way up to make 1 or 2 things, right? And then you make those 2 things, they're buying on pickup, you got them. That's it. Look at me, I'm a blacksmith. This game, however, it will always be worth it to level up those because you can always improve upon something someone wants improved.
I think it's great. I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea too.
Because then you'll never get to the point where You say, "Oh, I'm a master level weaponsmith, but my sword that I can make that's super uber cool doesn't come close to the end game dungeon sword that you can find from this boss, right?" Well, that argument's gone now because I have this awesome end game sword that I got from that boss, but it's not as good as it could. Master level weaponsmith to improve it. And that master level weaponsmith is going to come up to you and say, "All right, you want it to be even more badassery? Well, here's a jewel that makes it do fire damage now," or something like that. There's always going to be room for, and
Yes.
even provisioners, even the cooks. Food and drink is going to act very similar to how food and drink in World of Warcraft. I'm assuming, now this is all speculation with the provisioner, I'm assuming food and drink is going to buff your character significantly, or else why would you be a provisioner, right?
Yes, exactly. This is, again, the comparison to WoW. It seems like it's going to be something similar to that. Okay, we've already kind of jumped into the second topic, which is endgame. Crafting is somewhat of an endgame thing. We're discussing how it fits in. So we will officially switch the topic over to endgame. So as far as endgame goes, Soma, why don't you tell them a little bit about how the adventure zones and stuff like that works that's currently implemented and what they plan on having for release?
Well, here's what I've gathered from endgame in a nutshell. If you are looking to get in a giant group and do endgame PvP, you're going to have to go to Cyrodiil, as there's no PvP in other areas.
PvP's next topic.
Yeah, no, I'm just moving. I'll move on to the PvE in a second. I'm just saying. So if you're looking for endgame PvP, Cyrodiil is your area. But if you're a PvE guy, Deagen, jeez, my segue. You just knocked me off my segue. We'll talk about PvP in a minute, though. He's right. The PvE aspect is it's going to be you clearing out your faction's area. So let's say you roll Ebonheart Pact, right? And I'm a Nord and Deagen's a Dark Elf, and we level up to 50 or 60 or whatever I think it's 50.
I think it's 52.
It's 50. We clear out Morrowind, we clear out Skyrim, and we clear out Black Marsh, and we're level 50. Well, PvE endgame moves into a 50-plus zone, where from that point you move over to the Aldmeri Dominion's countries and zones, and you start playing all their quests. But you don't see any of the Aldmeri Dominion races. You don't see Khajiit, you don't see High or what else, which is very, very weird. Then you clear all that stuff out, and it's much harder than the stuff that you've just done. After you've beaten those 3 zones worth of content, then it's 50 plus. Then you move on to the last factions areas, which would be, if you were Ebonheart Pact, the Daggerfall Covenant, right? So now I'm playing in Hammerfell, and I'm playing in High Rock and whatnot. And after I've done that, and it's going to be super hard to imagine, like Hell mode in Diablo 3 or something like that, or Diablo 2 rather. After you've done that, you're 50 plus. You've gotten everything you needed to do. You've thwarted all of the campaigns and all the zones. You've walked across Tamriel and kicked ass. Now what? Well, that's whenever adventure zones come into play. And I feel like adventure zones are their answer to what a raid is. I feel like it's, instead of you meeting up at Molten Core with 39 of your friends and then walking into this blue mystical portal, and like delving into that portal and being inside this area, this instance area, they're gonna unlock for endgame people only these adventure zones where think like, this is just kind of speculation on my end, but I'm imagining it's going to be large zones where you can go in a big group with your friends and compete against other big groups of people that are trying to take down world bosses or clear dungeons or whatnot. I don't expect 40-man raids. I don't expect 25-man. I'm expecting, maybe 16 or 20-man groups possibly, because groups are going to be of 4. But I think it's going to be raid-ish. Like, you have to come together to defeat this boss with his kooky mechanics and, dodge the fire and whatnot. But I think that there's going to be some kind of integration where you're competing against other groups in the adventure zone too to take down that boss. They mentioned how you can be in an end game area working on getting toward this big boss in a cave, and all of a sudden at the other side of the cave you see another group come in and they're flagged for PvP, and you can either try to just go for the boss and kill them before that group gets to you, or you can kill that group first and then take on the boss, or as that group you can hide in the shadows and wait for the other group to engage the boss and then backstab him and kill him and then take on the boss yourself. So it's going to be like
pretty chaotic too, though.
Big time. So that's kind of where that's kind of what they've said about it is, in the end game, there might be moments where you're so close to downing that boss, and then all of a sudden another group comes in and totally thwarts it. So you're always on your toes. You always have to work together. You can't just Zerg fest something and be completely safe Zerging it. So that's kind of
that would be interesting how that really plays out. I mean, it sounds interesting right now talking about it, but as far as actually seeing that type of content,
sounds good
action,
on paper. Sounds good on paper.
I mean, it's going to be one of those things where you're probably going to enjoy it at times, and then other times you're going to be like, "This is the dumbest thing ever."
Which is good. I don't like it when I'm always in a game saying, "Oh, this is just perfect for me." I don't like it when everything goes my way all the time.
Oh,
in a game.
Such a liar.
I like it. No. I mean, I know it sounds dumb to say, and it sounds like I'm lying, but sometimes it is fun to be the underdog and then come back and win then. Sometimes it's okay to get your ass kicked. Not everyone has to be, the number one bastard on the server that owns everyone. Sometimes you lose, and that's how games work. I mean,
I never lose, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
You died first in the Survivor Games 3.
I did.
I didn't want to bring it up.
I did.
I'll bring it up.
You told me that weapon wasn't even supposed to be there, though, right? It was a server spawn weapon or whatever.
Oh, that's CV. Yeah. I placed all the weapons personally,
and that one was not placed there, so it was just a lucky spawn.
Lucky spawn.
So, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's beside the point. But yeah, you lose.
I did. But I did get some fantastic steaks that night, so 2 steaks actually.
Two
Can't
steaks?
complain. Two steaks, not 2 steaks.
It's like, Deagen, you're a married man. You don't need 2 steaks. Okay, anyway. So endgame. So there's also going to be...
Oh, gosh.
There's also going to be what? I think they said 15 or 16 dungeons that you can play in for each faction, I think, or is it total? Maybe it's total. I think it's 16 dungeons total, or 15 total. And then at the end game, there's a hard mode that you can turn on, and it also changes the actual story elements of the instance that you've done. So let's say in WoW you do the Dead Mines instance, right? And then at the end, at endgame, you go back and do the hard mode, but it's not the same old Dead Mines. It's the same instance, but the story has changed, and there's different bosses and different characters and different mechanics that you have to figure out.
Very cool.
That's great. But that's like 4-man stuff.
That sounds very cool.
It's a 4-man group. I'm really interested to see how they implement like their 8 or 12 or 16 or 20-man groups, which I'm assuming, Matt Firor, the lead guy at ZOS for ESO, ZeniMax Online Studios, he stated, don't worry, there is large group-based content. We just haven't talked about it yet. He stated that there's going to be things that people might say are similar to raids, but we have decided to not talk about our endgame stuff, but we have mentioned adventure zones. So whenever I hear, but we have mentioned adventure zones aren't the only endgame thing we're getting. We're going to be, I think that maybe
they're hinting
E3
at more
PAX
stuff.
Prime. Oh yeah, PAX Prime or E3, we're going to see some big unveil of their endgame.
Me and Soma are going to PAX Prime.
Yeah, I'll be at PAX Prime.
Yes. For sure. So the good thing about that is if we keep doing this podcast and it starts to maybe take off a little bit, we'll get there and get to the Skyrim, or not Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online. We'll go back in time. No, well, hopefully maybe we can get some cool stuff to give away for you guys, which would be pretty awesome. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Guys are all about community, garnishing a good community, and there's several ESO podcasts and fan websites and wikis and whatnot. And ZOS has been nothing but helpful. They link the websites and videos on their official site. So if anything, if we stroll and we're like, "Yo, let us play it and talk to people that want to hear about it," I'm sure they wouldn't turn us away.
No, PAX Prime is going to be awesome. Maybe it's going to be a very important time. I think not only for this, but for streams in general. I mean.
Yeah.
Twitch TV has taken off incredibly this past year. So from this PAX or from last year's PAX to this PAX, the differences in the streams are quite astronomical. So it should be a pretty important year for that stuff. Anyways,
so what do you think about Endgame? What do you think about that?
What do I think about Endgame, dude? I am excited. The fact that they've talked about adventure zones is cool. I like that. I like having the smaller group content. I think smaller group content is fun. It helps build
Screw 40 man.
It helps build a closer group of people. You don't always have to run with the same people, but it helps, people come a little bit closer together instead of being in a group with 20 people, if you're in 20 people, with WoW stuff, 20 people raids, whatever it was. I can't remember, 25-man raids.
10 man, 25.
That gets kind of boring sometimes. There's so many people talking, and you're just like, man, I just don't want to hear this many people talk. I'd rather just go run something with my buddies. So that's cool. I like that. I like the smaller content, but at the same time, them hinting about larger content is definitely awesome. And I know they're kind of keeping it, under the wraps right now, but just knowing that it's out there and there's more stuff coming is definitely encouraging. So I think it's good.
I'd like to see 8-man raids or dungeons and maybe 16-man at max. I don't want to see a big gaggle fludge of a bunch of
you don't want a gaggle. I mean, a gaggle is just too much.
It is. A gaggle. The official number of gaggle is 25. You don't want to see
way too many gaggles.
Yeah,
no, way too many. But yeah, and someone in chat just asked about the holy trinity of the and I guess we weren't really going to talk about this as far as how characters can be built, but we'll touch on it, I guess, very, very, very quickly. From what I know, you can pretty much build your character however the hell you want to build your character. Pretty much. So what does that mean, right? If there's probably certain classes you're going to play, they're going to have certain abilities that you can level. So obviously you can't play a warrior and run around healing people, right? But that doesn't mean... Okay, let me clarify. You can, but as far as going from, like, a warrior to a different class, you're obviously going to be better at it with one. Right?
Well, you still have
different ability sets.
Well, here's how the class system works, though. There's Nightblade, Dragon Knight, Templar, and Sorcerer, right? And it's basically just a starting template, so you have an idea of kind of where you want to go. But you could say, I'm a Dragon Knight, but I don't want to be a Dragon Knight that uses a sword and shield and tanks. You could put on a restoration staff and robes and be a dedicated healer and never once use any of the Dragon Knight skills, because the Dragon Knight skill line is its own thing that you can ignore if you want. Because you have 5 skills on a skill bar, right? And then a 6th one that's an ultimate. And that's with your sword. And it changes Guild Wars 2 style, kind of, depending on what class you are and what race you are, of what those skills in the two-hand sword will be. So a 2-hand Dragon Knight Orc is going to be different than a 2-hand Templar Breton, right? Like, they're still going to be able to do DPS, but the skills are going to be slightly different, right? Well, as you use your 2-hand sword, there's a skill line in 2-hand swords, right, that also branch off. And don't forget, there's very little real estate when it comes to how many skills you can have out. 6 in total, but you can switch your weapon. So, let's say I hit Z and switch my weapon from my 2-hand sword to my restoration staff. All of a sudden, I have access to 6 new skills. So, you could be that tanky warrior or DPS warrior, and then hit Z, switch your weapon, and all of a sudden you have a restoration staff that has a whole bunch of healing spells on it instead that you've chosen to level up, because the only skills that level up are the ones on your hotbar that you are using. So if you are a Dragon Knight and you want to be a healer, put healing spells on your hotbar, level those up, and those are going to be what you can put points in. That's what you customize. So yeah, you could be a dual wield Dragon Knight warrior that has AoE heal spam. You know, like that's crazy.
But the question is though, does that mean that there's no Holy Trinity?
Yes, and that's what I was about to get to. There is still going to be a need for a Holy Trinity. They're trying to stay away from Holy Trinity. I'm sorry, but the Holy Trinity is a necessary evil, and I don't even think it's an evil. I don't even think it's evil. I think it's good.
I think it's good too. There should be class roles in MMOs. People have to feel like they're filling a role instead of just being another piece of the gaggle.
Right, and I like the fact that I can roll a Nightblade, Dark Elf Nightblade, which is supposed to be a stealthy kind of class, and that's what the skill line equates to, is, you know, like maybe like a dagger toss from stealth or something like that. But I can say, you know what? I want to rock heavy armor, and I want to use bow and arrows.
Right.
But I'm supposed to be a Nightblade. That's a good thing. But it gets to the point where, well, what if everyone wants to be a frickin' battle mage wearing heavy armor and wielding a staff and doing insane DPS? What if no one wants to be a healer? What if no one wants to be a tank? And of course, there's going to be millions of people playing. There will be tanks and healers. But because there's so much freedom of choice, is the Holy Trinity going to be muddied? Or are people going to say, screw it, let's all just roll DPS tanks?
It's going to be blurry. I mean, let's just be honest here.
It's definitely going to be.
The line when you're running these zones or these, 8, 16 man, whatever it's going to be, raid scenarios, the water's going to be murky, and it's going to be a little bit weird. Nobody knows what the abilities are between all these things too. I mean, there's so much stuff that we don't know that you won't really be able to know everything until the game's out. I mean,
right, and they've stated that there's going to be slots for passive abilities too. So there's going to be like a character menu where you can like upgrade passives. But when it comes to the actual skill bar you're using, you're going to have your 5 skills and then an ultimate.
Yep.
And these 5 skills, they've stated, are going to be always something that has purpose. So it's either going to do damage, or it's going to CC someone, or get you out of a CC, or greatly
buff or debuff.
It's not going to be some like stupid skill like
that does everything.
Or like, like in World of Warcraft, you had like 1,000 bars, and like half of them were like, like slow fall and detect animal, or like stupid crap. It's like they want every skill in the game to have meaning. They don't want it to be some stupid little skill that no one would ever want to put on their hotbar. They want every skill to have a purpose behind it, and that's a good thing. And then of course the ultimates, if you're blocking and hitting correctly and landing crits and playing the game like it's supposed to be played, like dodging.
There's definitely going to be skill involved in that, which that was one of the things that I loved reading about.
That's the best part. Yeah, that's the best part.
Best part, for sure.
It's the more you block and the more you hit and the more you dodge out of the way of, fire and whatnot, this meter is going to go up.
Yeah, the better you are, the faster it goes up.
And that's how you use your ultimate abilities, right?
Yeah, that's how you use your more powerful abilities. If you guys that don't know, the more successful attacks, the more dodges, the more blah, 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 timing, blocking, all that stuff, it contributes to your bar that fills and allows you to do more important abilities.
Finally. It's so good. That's so good.
Right, an MMO that rewards someone for doing things correctly, right?
I don't have to spam 2-3-4, 2-3-4. That's my rotation, 2-3-4. 2-3-4, 2-3-4 for an hour. No, I want to block. I want to get in there and dodge, and that's what action combat's all about. Oh, that's another thing I expect. I forgot. I expect some damn good combat. No floaties. Not like I just hit you with my hammer and then like a second later I see you get hit by it. I want to feel the connection. You want
the thud behind it.
I want thud.
He wants the thud.
No, I need some weight and feeling behind my combat.
Animations are always super important in
Yeah.
games, definitely.
Yeah.
Very
I mean,
important.
Neverwinter did a pretty good job.
Yes, their
with
animation
combat.
looks pretty well done. There is a little bit of lag behind some of the casts and stuff like that, but I would think overall the animations are very well done, so that's a good thing to, compare it to.
There's kill cams in ESO, just letting you know.
I have heard, yes, that's
Crazy.
going to be awesome. Another thing that we haven't talked about yet is boss fight mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Boss fight mechanics.
I don't know exactly what all it's going to entail. It seems like there's going to be a lot of dodging, a lot of blocking. I mean, where everybody's going to have to block certain things. And that's really, really cool, but I'd hope that the mechanics are more than just that. Like,
Your typical line of sight, hide behind a pillar, dodge the fire.
I mean, I hope there's fun mechanics. Mechanics to me are like, I hate bosses that are just idiot check bosses, and you're just like, okay, gotta stand here. Okay, gotta stand here. Like, I like timing. I like having interrupts. I like that was, I hate bringing it back to WoW a lot, but it's.
Don't hate on it. Screw it. That's the benchmark. It is.
It is the benchmark, but WoW. For me, one of the greatest things about some of the boss fights in there was you had to interrupt certain abilities. Some of those abilities were cast in like 0.5 a second.
I know it sucks.
If you didn't interrupt them, it's like white.
Game over.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love being that guy that was like, all right, bring it on. I'm ready. I don't know. I really like stuff like that. Interrupts, and that's one of the things that bugs me about Neverwinter is there's no something like that really. It's just
in
dodge
general.
the red circles, kill mass amounts of ads. While
That's
it's
totally
fun,
what Neverwinter is, yeah.
while it's fun, there's no real mechanic behind boss fights, and it feels.
It's zerging.
It's
zerging with dodge.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
So I'm really hoping boss fight mechanics are pretty cool.
I try to think like where could they really take him? Where could they go with it? I mean, you have your typical line of sight, like okay, he's casting something, hide behind this rock, or dodge the fire. But where else can they really take it besides like interrupts and stuff like that? I hope that they've kind of looked outside of the box and have developed something new and fresh. I realize it's not very easy. It's not easy to develop.
Like
new
as much as you
ideas
hear
just like
new
that.
and fresh, like in nowadays
it's-
video games, the chances are you're gonna get something new and fresh is pretty slim.
Yeah, it's obviously going to be recycled and stuff, but I just
I know what
hope
you're
that
saying.
there's a little bit of glitter and flair involved.
A
A twist
on it.
Yeah.
Just twist it up.
Yeah. I hope.
All right. Well, I think we have covered as far as a brief overlay. I know we could go into Endgame a lot more than what we've already done, but let's jump into PvP and talk about that.
Oh, PvP.
Oh, PvP. So I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, there's no open world PvP, but there's not.
I'm crying about it. Are you kidding me? That was my favorite thing in World of Warcraft. I spent more time on my undead rogue in Ashenvale hunting people.
You bastard.
I go into Terran Mill and South Shore and I loved world PvP with my guild. Me and my guild would be like, hey, let's take over this town. We're taking over this zone. That was my favorite part. By far.
I mean,
I liked it more than
I get it.
I liked it more than raids, but now it's
have they actually confirmed that there will never be open world PvP? Have they officially said that? Because I'm pretty sure they have not confirmed that. They just said for release.
They've said all PvP will be contained in Cyrodiil. You will never see someone of another faction outside of Cyrodiil. That is not cool with me. That is immersion breaking as hell. If I am in a 50+ zone as a Daggerfall Covenant Breton Paladin, and I am in Skyrim because I'm in the next area, the 50+ zone, and I'm not seeing Nord players to kill, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's something really, really wrong with that to me. That's
now,
not cool.
As far as the PvP being contained to Cyrodiil,
which is a huge zone. It's huge.
It's going to be. Yeah, every area in this game is going to be massive. I think we all understand that.
They've stated that Cyrodiil is going to be many, many times over bigger than the Cyrodiil of Oblivion.
Now, what this is going to balance on for me as far as if this PvP is going to work or not. Is there any reason to go to Cyrodiil besides PvP? That's the question, right?
And
do you only go in there and say, okay, I'm just going to walk around and find people? Or are there actual, like, daily quests? Are there special gathering things that you can only get in Cyrodiil? Like, that's going to weigh pretty heavily on how PvP works out, in my opinion.
And you're actually right, because they've stated not everyone wants to play an MMO and get into the PvP scene, but they still want to help with the PvP efforts, right? They still want to feel like they belong and that they've helped the war effort without actually going and killing players. So yeah, you can go into Cyrodiil and you can do quests against NPCs, and there's even dungeons that you can go in, and you can be in Cyrodiil with viable things to do without ever actually having to go and fight someone. Though it's Cyrodiil, so you're probably going to run into someone, right?
Right. But they are giving you a reason to be there outside of PvP.
Right. You can still do PvE questing within Cyrodiil, but it's kind of like, just think a PvP server in WoW. Like, you're out questing and all of a sudden, there's a bunch of horde people trying to kick your ass. That's going to be what Cyrodiil is. It's going to be the PvP server of ESO.
It could be a Zerver too.
Zerver. I don't know why I said Zerver. I know why I said Zerver, because I was thinking Zerging, and that's what I hope. That's what I hope is not what PvP comes down to in ESO.
I know.
Because that's Guild Wars 2 in a nutshell. Zerg.
Yeah.
Right now, there's going to be they said that there's going to be tons of forts and controlled areas that think like PlanetSide 2, right? Where like
Yes.
Ebonheart Pact has this stronghold and castle, and there's going to be lumber mills, farms, and mines attached to these forts, right? So the lumber mill will allow you to keep your walls up, right? And the farm will keep the NPC guards in the fort
Max efficiency.
max health, yeah. And I don't know if the frickin' mine will do something. So basically, you have to protect these little nodes.
The mine will give you gold.
Yeah, so a lot of people are like, well, is it going to be Wintergrasp where I'll just sit in the keep and defend as the big Zerg group tries to break in, which they always eventually do? No, I don't think it's going to be like that at all, actually. What I think it's going to be is that's why you want to keep that farm up, because the NPCs are going to guard the keep. So that forces the player to run out there and guard those farms,
right.
Guard those mines. It's gonna be like, okay, so let's get a 5-man group of rogues to go and take out that farm while they're all concentrating on the mine right now, or something like that. Like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of like smaller group-based stuff that can be done, but there's also going to be room for those big giant Zergy battles too.
Right.
So I think that's such a fresh breath of air that. But at the same time, though, there's always the human element that we have to factor in. What if people are like, fuck it, let's just run in, screw it, and that's just what it's going to be like, Because that could be it. It could just be people playing and saying, we could protect the farm, or we could say, screw it, and let's just rush the keep, and let's just own it.
Is what always happens in games like this. Before it comes out and people are speculating on how PvP is going to be, everybody has their own opinion on what's going to happen. All it comes down to is what's easiest, right?
I know, and that sucks.
What is the least path of resistance? They will find it, and then that will be what happens. Until they change it, which maybe they will, maybe they won't, you never know. They'll find the least path of resistance to the finish line, and that's what's going to happen. So hopefully they have it implemented in a way where it is much, much more difficult without taking prior objectives before, taking the main one. So hopefully everything works out with that. I think PvP could be in a good spot. I know the open world PvP kind of not having that is going to suck a little bit, but
as long as Cyrodiil is amazing, it shouldn't matter that much. It shouldn't matter too much.
I'm going to bring it back to Star Wars, okay?
Okay.
So, I played Star Wars, 12 hours plus a day for about 3 months straight. I played that game a lot. They had a planet designated for max level PvP.
Ilum, right?
Ilum, yes.
I played it too, yeah.
It was the most garbage idea
I know.
for PvP forever. It just turned into groups, kill trading, and let's go get my daily done, and it was just really, really, really bad. It did not promote PvP at all. It promoted just crap Zerg nastiness, and it was garbage. It turned out being like a ghost planet within the game servers.
That sucks.
And I don't know. I just I hope PvP in this game is much better. I'm excited for it.
You know, one of the cool things I really liked about, and yep, I'm bringing it back to WoW, so get over it. Urgh. One of the things I loved about WoW PvP was I'd get into a battleground, and I'd recognize certain players in the other team, like, oh crap, this is that warlock, Eliendar, and his undead or his rogue human buddy, Frosty, and they're really good. They're so good at
Frosty was really good, yeah.
Yeah, these guys are so epic. Oh, I can't believe we have to play against them. This sucks. You saw players over and over and over again, and there was a community and PvP kind of roster that you kind of got used to, right? And we see this mega server happening in ESO. Am I gonna see the same people? Am I gonna see that one guy that I have a rivalry with that beats me sometimes, but I beat him sometimes? Because I loved that aspect. I loved when I ran into an old nemesis, on Warsong Gulch, and there's that guy that I played against last week. Here we go again. That was great, but we have this big mega server now where there's,
Well, you're not queuing for PvP or anything like that.
Right? No, exactly. But
you're going into an area, and
you're going into an area, but it's one mega server, right? So there's going to be multiple shards of Cyrodiil, which is basically alternate realities and dimensions of the same place, right?
Right.
So
instances, basically large instances.
Sure, with thousands of people in it, or hundreds, who knows? But are we gonna not see that same kind of community where, like, okay, there's that guy that always gets me. Like, I want to, because it's a mega server, am I never going to be immersed with the same people that I play against because there's so many people on the mega server and there's so many shards, or I know they have this thing called campaigns where there's a PvP campaigns, and I think that might be the answer to it. Exactly what I'm trying to say here. I don't know how to articulate it very well, but it's basically a campaign it's a set maybe group of shards that you play on in PvP in Cyrodiil, and it's a certain amount of players. Let's say 1,000 players for the Ebonheart Pact, 1,000 players for Daggerfall Covenant, and 1,000 for Aldmeri, and they're in campaign 32, let's say.
Right.
And every time you log on and go into Cyrodiil, it's only people in campaign shard number 32 that will be in there. They mention campaigns and that you can pay if, let's say, the Ebonheart Pact is getting their asses just brutally kicked. You can pay, I don't know if it's in-game currency or real currency, to switch your campaign. Like, okay, I don't want to be in this campaign. Let me switch to campaign 34, and then you can do that. But you can't. There's going to be some cost to it, right? So I'm assuming maybe that's my answer. Is the campaigns? That's what they are for. But
yeah, I don't know.
I don't really know how it's going to work. I mean, I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Did anything I just said make any sense at all?
Kind of. I mean, I'm following you a little bit. I hope that people can't just up and switch, because that's going to create dead factions quickly.
Yeah, I know. And you can, though. That's the thing. They've stated, if you are not feeling your campaign and you want to join a different campaign. But I'm not saying you quit Ebonheart Pact and then join Aldmeri Dominion. That's not what I mean.
No,
I mean you're Ebonheart Pact failing at campaign 32, so you
find another campaign that you're winning at. Yeah,
you're winning it, which sucks. But I think there's also a timer on it and a limit of how many times you could do it or how often.
Right.
As long as they balance it correctly, it shouldn't be too big of an issue.
We will have to see how that works out then, because it seems a little bit confusing right now, I'm sure, to people, but we'll see what
Big time.
happens.
I'm confused by it, totally, man.
All right. Well, so I guess the last topic that we will discuss is the factions and community. I know I'm pretty excited about the factions and them kind of being up against each other, and I'm pretty pumped. So I think Soma's got a pretty good rundown of all the factions and stuff here too. He is. We'll let him run over that real fast, and we'll talk about what we're planning on playing and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you have 3 factions. Anyone that doesn't know, it's the Aldmeri Dominion, which is the Bosmer, Dunmer, and Altmer. Your High Elves, Wood Elves, or what the hell am I talking about? It's Altmer and Bosmer, not Dunmer, and the Khajiit. So you have your High Elves,
yes,
Wood Elves, and Khajiit. Your Dunmer are with the Nords and the Argonians and the Ebonheart Pact, and then you have your Orcs, Red Guards, and Breton folks in the Daggerfall Covenant.
Yeah,
so
Daggerfall.
You have a three-way war, which I like. AVA, that's awesome. I kind of am a little sad that I can't be an orc and play with a Khajiit or an Argonian that has like a Wood Elf friend. Like, that's not possible. That sucks, but I get it. That's how the lore states that history was in the second era for this game, right? And if it's, as long as it makes sense in the lore, we can't really argue about that. So that's okay with me. It took me a while to kind of swallow that, saying, I can't be a high elf with a dark elf friend. That sucks. But I get it. They needed some kind of balance. They needed to. I understand why they did it, and I'm not going to complain about that. So those are our three factions. I personally am all about Ebonheart Pact, and you're all about Daggerfall, but I also have always loved Breton, so I'm totally gonna join your guild too. And you can be in multiple guilds. You can be in multiple guilds, dude. Did you know that?
Yeah, that doesn't create any sense of.
I know.
I don't like that. I hate that.
There's no guild pride there, right?
No, I honestly don't like that.
Yeah, the argument is, well, you can be in the Mages Guild and the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood all at once. Yeah, but that's different. Okay,
yeah, but you know what
different.
The difference was with that is you had massive, okay, I think back to Morrowind, where if you joined a faction, you had huge consequences with other factions, almost to the point where people wouldn't even communicate with you anymore. And that's awesome. That goes back to the dumbing down of the test games in general, right? Like now in Skyrim, you could be leader of every single guild in the game, and it doesn't affect anything. I won't get into it. But I don't like that you cannot, or that you can just join any guild you want. It just seems dumb to me.
Can you imagine that? Just you have this one guy who's in every single guild on the mega server. I want to be in every single guild. All of a sudden, this guy knows all the information and all the guild scheduled times and meetings of every guild, and he's spreading the word, and, they're meeting here at this time. Let's go kill him there. I don't know.
That guy's a bastard.
That guy's a bastard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there should be a limit to how many guilds. If they're going to do multiple guilds, I get it. They want to cater to everybody. They want to hold everyone's hand, and, you can have this, and you can, yes, kids, we all get what we want. Some people want to join multiple guilds, so they've implemented that. I hope there's a limit. I hope that you can't join 50 frickin' guilds. 5 tops. 3 tops. I get it. Some people want to be in multiple guilds. Just don't
be a guild slut.
Don't be a guild whore. Yeah, don't overkill it. Don't be the guild bicycle,
Yes. Ring.
Multiple guilds, yeah. We'll see how that plays out, dude.
I'm playing an orc. And I'm going to smash things.
I'm going to be a Breton heal tank.
A Breton heal tank.
I'm going to be a sword board tank, and then my other weapon, when I hit Z or whatever the damn hotkey will be, I want to be a healer. So I want to be right in the midst of thing, tanking and spanking, and then bam, all of a sudden I'm healing.
Bam, all of a sudden I'm healing.
Hello, everyone come close here. I'm a nerd.
Everybody stand close to me.
Let me just shoot some green shit all over you. Oh, you're healed. There you go. Healing is all pretty much AoE based, by the way. I hope you know that.
Yes, I do know that. I've seen the videos on it. Which, honestly...
Whatever.
It's fine. It's fine.
I feel like it could cater towards zerginess, though. Everyone just ball up and roll, and I'll just AoE heal right in the middle of it.
Everybody's move together. Tight formation.
That's what I'm saying.
Flying V.
It could be like that, man. It could. It's really catering towards the Zergs, man. So Sam Zergs. Don't cater to the Zergs.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I don't know. I know for sure that I want to go like two-handed, beast build for sure. But I don't know what my second skill set is gonna cater towards. I don't know what I want to do yet.
And here's the funny thing.
We'll be an orc.
You can do whatever you want at any time. I'm making these plans for my character, but I doubt I'll stick with it. Because at any time I can, as that tanky healer, I can say,
"Ooh, this is."
I want to put robes
cool.
on. I want to put this light armor on instead. And all of a sudden, I can dish out magic better instead of bashing faces.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be a good time. I'm really excited. So now will be, I guess, there wasn't a whole lot to cover with factions. It's just kind of a quick overview for people who might not really know what's going on or what's the deets on that. So we'll cover that real quick.
Here's one thing I'm kind of scared about, actually, if I could add one thing with factions. If you look at the map of how you've seen the
yeah, I've seen it. Yep.
You know how the Ebonheart Pact has 3 massive countries, and the Aldmeri Dominion has a frickin' island and 2 massive countries in the south. How are they going to balance play area and game area and the amount of content in each zone when some zones are clearly smaller than others? Like the Daggerfall Covenant, they have Hammerfell and High Rock, and then the orcs, of course, live in the mountains, but there's no zone for the orcs. So are they cutting down on content in those areas or trying to pack in tons in a smaller area? How is that going to work?
I don't know.
I'm nervous, man.
Maybe Daggerfall is the way to go if you want to level quickly, because all the content will be packed in. I have no idea.
That would be so not broken, Deagen. That would not be broken.
No, we're not speculating on how to break the game or anything.
No, not at all.
No, I mean that's a good topic to bring up, I guess. I have no idea. I really don't. It's hard to build quest lines around mountains, so I know they don't really have an area for that. So
I hated the Stone Talon Mountains. That shit sucked. I hated them.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. I mean, it's all speculation. I mean, we don't really know where questing areas are going to be, how it's going to work, but it should be fun.
I know there's no quest hubs. There's no walking into a town and having 8 dudes with exclamation points over the head and you get a bunch of quests, go do them, and then turn them all back in. It's definitely going to be catered toward exploration.
They've said that they're trying to bring the exploration back a little bit from Morrowind, as far as you go explore, you find quests. So,
and if you want to be a hardcore explorer, there's the sky shards out there. For every 3 you find, you get a skill point that you can use.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Skills.
I remember reading about that a couple weeks back now.
It's kind of like in SWTOR. What was that in Star Wars? Those
little data cubes, yeah.
Data cubes, yeah.
Datacrons or whatever.
Datacrons, yeah.
And that was really cool too, because some of those were really interesting to find. Yeah, they were really interesting to find for sure.
Yeah, I liked it.
No, that's definitely a good. I really like that in MMOs, because that says, you know what, go explore, you get a reward.
Absolutely.
Explore your little heads off.
Exploring is the best part.
It is. Exploring is the best part. I agree. Most definitely, that's the most important thing for me in MMOs is exploration. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last part of the first Elder Scrolls podcast is going to be chat questions and stuff like that. So me and Soma are both looking at the chat. Again, Soma has a little bit more in-depth knowledge and a little bit more nerdgasm knowledge than I have. I will catch up to you, though. I will catch up. But if you guys have questions or things that we might have covered that you still have a question about or something like that, just go ahead and ask, and we'll try to cover it real quick. If nobody speaks up here soon, we will end up just killing the podcast. And
we prefer yes or no questions. Yes or no questions only. None of this long answer crap. No. Give us some good questions, guys. Give us some good questions. When does it come out? No. No, I'm just joking. Open beta, supposedly, is supposed to start sometime at the end of the summer, so says the spider of the rumor web. But I don't know if that's true. I mean, that's speculation. But I'm assuming open beta will happen sometime at the end of the summer, after PAX.
Right, and I'm pretty sure they've said they've stopped giving out closed beta invites, haven't they? At least
No,
for
no,
right
no.
now.
They're still giving them out, but they're spacing it differently, and they're
Oh,
not
maybe
doing
that's
like
what I
every
read.
week. They're spacing it out, so it's longer testing groups for right now. So
Okay, yeah. I heard something about them stopping something with the closed beta invite, so I guess it makes sense. Why won't they give me a beta invite, Soma? I just want to play.
screw you! I want one, buddy. I want one.
I will murder you.
I will fight you with the restoration staff.
I will fight you with a freaking two-handed hammer.
That's way more hardcore than a restoration staff, Deagen. That's
Yeah.
not cool.
I will smash you.
Oh, I see a question. So will guilds go between factions? Can cross-faction guilds? Yes. So you can be... wait. Will guilds go between factions? Are you talking about guilds like Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild? Or like player guilds? Because actually that's... Reword that question.
Reword your question.
Is it Mac compatible? Yes, they're making it compatible for Macs. All world PvP so I can kill Deagen and Soma. Thanks, Jen. That's really sweet.
No, Vaz. Does it take a good computer to run it? It's going to have a little bit higher demands as far as your computer goes than I think most MMOs will. That being said,
gorgeous.
I mean, you can always turn down graphics, and there's always ways to improve FPS in certain games, but it will require a little bit more than your average, I think, gaming rig nowadays to run, a really smooth game.
I'm assuming it's going to take between a low and medium end GPU, maybe a dual core CPU. I mean, your Pentium 3 is probably not going to run the crap, let's be honest.
Right.
But if you have a couple of cores, a low to medium end GPU, 4 gigs of RAM, you should be okay. I mean, you're not going to be at max settings by any means.
Right.
But so avoided though player guilds. So no, you can't have a guild that has Aldmeri Dominion and then Ebonheart Pact members. It's
That
going to
wouldn't make
be
any sense.
yeah, that wouldn't make any sense at all. So if you're Ebonheart Pact, everyone in your guild is either going to be an Argonian, a Nord, or a Dark Elf, and that's going to be the players you see in your guild. So.
Grim, will the Elder Scrolls be involved in the storylines? That's a good question. I don't know how they're going to tie in the whole, test series to the storyline in general. We know what's the timeline that this is actually taking place, Soma?
So this is in the middle of the Second Era, and this is before Tiber Septim has started his dynasty. And, with the Dragonborns and the dragon fire that is in Oblivion and whatnot. This is before all that. There's no Dragonborn yet. And it's basically Molag Bal is trying to pull his plane of Oblivion called Cold Harbor, which is basically Tamriel, but like a crappy version of it that's like dark and twisted. He's trying to combine them and bring them together, right? And the thing I don't really like about that main plot is, like it says, Molag Bal has collected souls, and it's written in the Elder Scrolls that he will be thwarted by one of the soulless ones that he's claimed. I'm just like, then why would he keep claiming people? Like, maybe he should take a break and not claim any more souls, because he knows he's gonna get his ass kicked.
Yeah, duh.
Maybe
it's in
take
the
a
Scrolls.
different. Yeah, like if you know it's in the Elder Scrolls are never wrong. Did he not read the Elder Scroll? I think
Maybe
Molag
he
Bal-
can't read.
Maybe he can't read, because I feel like he's a
Somebody should tell him.
he's a Daedra. You
Yeah.
know, he should probably know this information.
Yeah.
So I feel it's kind of hokey in that kind of regard. But the Elder Scrolls state that a soulless one will thwart Molag Bal and regain his soul and kick Cold Harbor in the crotch and get him away from Tamriel and combining.
Right in the crotch, yeah,
Right
with
in
a
the
tip.
the
Right,
crotch
toe
overreach.
kick. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's written.
So that's the basic story, but of course there's going to be other side stories and Game of Thrones-esque stuff, like Ebonheart Pact fighting against the Aldmeri Dominion, and we must thwart the thrones so we can, there's going to be like intrigue and stuff like that in terms of minor characters, mortal characters. But when it comes to the Elder Scrolls-y, Godsy, Daedra-ish kind of stuff, that's your main antagonist, Molag Bal.
Cav 3, yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier too. You have to be one of 3 races to be in a guild with your friends. It seems a little bit weird, but as far as the time frame goes for when this game's taking place and everything, as far as the immersion of it goes, it makes sense. But yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. We kind of all agree with you.
Yeah.
What do I think about the 3 factions instead of the 2, like many other MMO games? I think it's cool. Why not? Why be like every other MMO and have just 2 factions? I think it's cool. Have 3. Why not?
I think it's awesome. And what would be really cool is if players could say, screw it, and then just like invite Aldmeri people and invite Daggerfall people and Ebonheart people into their own faction.
Yes.
Like kind of take over and say, you know what, we don't agree with the Ebonheart. We don't agree with the Aldmeri. We don't agree with Daggerfall. That's just some hardcore nerd wishes, though. Like, that's never going to happen. That's just me being a nerd and wishing that players could take control.
I'm pretty sure we're all nerds here.
Totally. This is awesome. We get to use the internet to talk about video games, and people like the video games that we're talking about, so they watch.
I love your nerd voice so much.
This is just how I always talk. This is the impression I'm doing right now.
Oh.
This is what I sound like. Like when I go out to talk to girls, it's like, so I do a live stream about video games. Interested? They're like, we gotta go. But yeah. Avoided says he is no nerd.
Gosh, that's a lie, Avoided. I've seen you in real life.
Oh.
You look like Steve Urkel.
No system requirements yet, Dragonfire. No system requirements yet. Hopefully, whenever we do this, are we going to be doing it Tuesdays now, or do you want to do it
Wednesdays?
Wednesdays.
Thursdays.
Okay. The podcast.
Mondays?
Any day that ends with Y is fine with me.
Okay. Now, I honestly would prefer Mondays.
Okay.
Mondays, I think, will be the normal day we did it. We didn't do it yesterday because Soma's a bastard, and apparently he has friends, so...
Yeah, I had a friend visiting. It was Memorial Day. I'm a vet, Air Force vet. Hell yeah. And I had an old Air Force buddy from Korea.
No, it's cool.
Come visit me. It was Memorial Day, and he stayed the whole weekend, and I hadn't seen him in a while, so we partied down and had a good time.
Super Beast, what will be their business model for the game? Nobody knows yet. They haven't said free-to-play model. They haven't said subscription. They haven't said one-time fee. We had no idea. I mean, nobody knows yet. But we did talk about business model in our podcast. Is one of the first things we covered as far as what we expect from the game. So definitely go back and watch the beginning, and you'll get a feel for the different scenarios that we kind of laid out. Yeah, so I will give a rundown real quick. Some if you have anything you want to announce about your stream, what you'll be streaming, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Give them the rundown here in a second. Gen just linked a wonderful opportunity for people who might be worried about, hey, maybe I can't play Elder Scrolls Online. The DTV network is the network that we run here through my stream. We're doing a $1,000 PC giveaway, and it'll be happening pretty much once a month. We'll be doing a drawing for that.
Damn.
I think it's $5 per entry, and any amount of money we raise over the $1,000, we will be adding more stuff to the PC, whether it's a keyboard, a mouse, better processor, better graphics card, all that stuff. So the more that goes into it is not more money for us, it's more that you guys get. So we definitely want to make it a community giveaway instead of it just pocketing us money like you see in a lot of other streams. So if you guys are worried that you might not be able to play the game, definitely maybe think about buying a raffle ticket. It will be, I think, once a month giveaway. And we also have a chat bot we're building here that will sit in the chat, and it will basically, as long as you're in one of the DTV network streams, you'll be gaining points. You can use those said points to enter yourself into the raffle. You don't even have to pay. So basically, by being here, you automatically can enter yourself into the raffle and have a chance to win a pretty awesome computer. So that's awesome. I stream every day from noon to 6. I take a break, and I come back and stream at night. So that's me. I play Neverwinter a lot. I play Smite. I do other stuff. I play Daisy sometimes. I used to play Daisy a lot, but that's me. And we'll let someone talk now.
Cool. Yeah, I stream. I haven't streamed a lot in the past, I'd say 10 days. I went out of town, and then I had a friend visit, so just bad timing. But I normally stream pretty much every day except Saturdays, sometimes Sundays as well. But I play a lot of Daisy. Daisy is like my big thing right now, while I wait for ESO kind of, and a couple of other games that are coming out.
Daisy standalone.
Daisy standalone, Watch Dogs. I'm going to be playing a lot of Watch Dogs when it comes out. Splinter Cell, the new Splinter Cell. But Daisy is pretty much my main thing. I love it a lot, and I'm not really getting bored of it anytime soon, I hope. So if you guys like fun, comedic Daisy streams, definitely... Adventures.
A Daisy stream with Soma is an adventure.
It is. I'm a lot more crude and a little nuttier when it comes to my stream, Daisy. But I normally stream for about 6 hours a day, and it's normally at night, PST. I'm in Washington, right outside of Seattle. So I normally start around, I'd say, 10 o'clock at night and stream late. But I'm trying to change my hours. I don't really know how it's going to work yet, but I expect it's going to be earlier. But yeah, mostly Daisy at the moment.
Yes.
I do sing, I beatbox, I do voices, and I have a plethora of accents and voices and impressions I do that I didn't want to splatter all over this podcast because it's about ESO. Not about my voices that I do. Hello. But, hello. Hello, Chop. Good day, sir. Hello.
We don't lift. No, never. Never.
I do work out, actually. I think it's good for you.
That's a lie. So.
I haven't been to the gym in like a year, but I do work out at home.
No. Oh my gosh, you are just so super strong.
I know. To be honest, the only reason why I have any semblance of muscle and in shape is because I was in the military for 6 years. Yes. And I was forced to do it. They forced me.
That's what happens.
They made me. Yeah.
I know there's been some questions that have been thrown out too while we're wrapping this up. Someone asked about Endgame. We did talk about it during the podcast, so we're not going to go back over it again. If you want to watch it, this video will be cut down and thrown up on both my YouTube and Soma's new YouTube. So I don't have Soma's YouTube linked here, but Soma, you can also link your YouTube in here too, so they can follow you there as well.
Okay, yeah, please feel free to subscribe to that youtube.com/HDSoma channel I just linked, and please follow my my stream. I'm a much smaller streamer than Deagen. I'm not even partnered, so I'm trying to work on that. But
I tweet your stream out all the time, Soma, because I love you,
baby. No, thanks, man. That's really nice of you.
You're welcome.
Is Soma really the lead of Foo Fighters? No, that's Dave Grohl.
He is.
Not me.
When the lead singer of Foo Fighters doesn't want to sing, Soma jumps in.
I jumped in.
They don't pay him nearly enough, though. He should get paid way more.
You're right. I get paid in Skittles and Red Bull.
Those bastards.
And
Sloppy
a pat
seconds.
on the back. That's my bonus, is a pat on the back.
No, you cannot stream beta testing. There's still an NDA on the game.
Yep, NDA is going to be on for, I'm guessing, until after PAX.
Yeah, I would assume when open beta starts, that's when the NDA will be lifted. Yeah. But not until then. So we really appreciate you guys being here. I hope you enjoyed the first of many Elder Scrolls Online podcasts. We will be doing this every week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the stream.
That's 4:30 p.m. PST.
Yes. Yeah, that is the time. That is the time.
Dirt time.
I can do time conversions.
Okay. Time zones. Because the planet's moving.
Okay, guys, we really do appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoyed it. I will be streaming hopefully Marvel Heroes tonight. I was supposed to stream it earlier today, but that did not work. Soma, you were streaming tonight, correct?
I'm streaming Daisy tonight, indeed.
So he'll be streaming later. So follow his stream, say hi, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for being here. Adios.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy.